Okay, so Qigong is an ancient practice of moving and mindfulness, which helps us to connect with the present moment. As I keep entering people, these practices remind us how to flow like water with softness and power in life so that we continue to grow and thrive. So today we have Maggie Constantino, who's one of our certified cancer journey coaches. And she is a Qigong instructor, cancer journey coach, of course, prayer practitioner, and explorer of the heart. Since her experience with cancer several years ago, she has been exploring ways to nurture her soul and ignite her inner flame. And she lives connected to her purpose. What began as a journey of seeking outside of herself has brought her home to her heart, a place where she discovered her inner sanctuary, a deep sense of peace and joy. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Maggie.
Oh, thank you, Sherry Ann.
I'm going to go ahead and spotlight you. How about that?
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to share some slides, but I think I'd rather see your faces as much as I can. Actually, I will share my first slide. All right, and then we'll change it. All right. I did want to congratulate the Cancer Journey Institute, especially Sherry Ann, for their 10th anniversary. You're part of the reason that I'm here. So congratulations from my heart, my soul. And I just want to thank you for allowing these presentations and this connection with the greater community. So I really appreciate that. And what a generous way to celebrate your 10 years. And I just want to welcome all of you and thank all of you who are attending today or who will watch later. All right. I'll keep the slides up for a moment here. Who am I? I'm Maggie Constantino. I am a cancer journey coach certified. I am also a certified Qigong instructor. And I've been on my own personal cancer journey. I'm just so honored and thrilled to be able to give back. Two of my most favorite things in this world are my Qigong practice and my work with the Cancer Journey Institute. They're just a source of passion, delight, and joy for me, and also personal growth, which is our theme this month. So before we go into some Qigong practice, I just wanted to give you a little bit of background, kind of tying together this idea of growth and Qigong and why they might be important to work together, along with everything that the Cancer Journey Institute teaches. Every time I'm in a class, a Qigong class, I go, wow, this is the same as Cancer Journey coaching. I'm just so amazed at the overlap between the two, and they deepen and extend each other. So here we go. So a brief little tiny snippet of my own journey with cancer and with Qigong. They kind of coincided, but they were on their own track, my cancer journey and my Qigong journey. So my cancer journey and my Qigong journey starts in innocence. So if you're familiar with the Cancer Journey Roadmap, you know that that's the time before a journey really starts. This time that we're just going with the flow of life. And in the picture, you see the very first picture on that slide, me with my son. We had a family trip to Arizona, which is one of my favorite places to be. And especially in nature and with my son, my husband, it was a beautiful, amazing experience. And at that point, I was a teacher in an elementary school. And I thought that I was really loving what I was doing. And I was on a track to be promoted in that job in this elementary school. And I thought, yeah, I could really get into this. but there was something missing. I just didn't know what it was, and life was moving, so I went with life, right? Then I received a cancer diagnosis, and in the beginning, I really muscled up, and I had this warrior face. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to push through this. And that's the second image there. And a few months in the heat of the summer, the heat, the high humidity, and the accumulation of chemotherapy and what that does to your body, that had me really worn out and exhausted. And I kind of felt like all I wanted, I seriously remember thinking all I want was a little bit of pity. I just want some sympathy and pity and someone to go, "Oh, you poor thing. Let's take care of you." And I got so much love from my loved ones and friends, and that love was amazing, but they could not pull me off the sofa because my place of this pit kind of dark experience was really me sitting on my sofa. It was like a little metaphor for the darkness of my experience because I was so exhausted I couldn't really move the way I wanted to. Even taking a walk outside would have me lightheaded and dizzy. So it felt a bit depressing and oppressive. And I wanted somebody else to lift me out of it, and that just wasn't going to happen. Um, so part of the growth journey for me was leaning into things that would really help me, kind of like that little support system until I could be thriving on my own. And somebody mentioned the word Qigong months before I started treatment, maybe a month before I started treatment. And I thought, okay, later on I'll do Qigong or something like that. Well, these quiet moments led me to some internet searches, and I found an incredibly heart-centered, love-filled teacher in Chun-Yi Lin, who is with Spring Forest Qigong, not the Qigong I'm certified in, but just an incredible first teacher for me who really taught me how to be self-compassionate. He uses the term love radiator, and he is a love radiator. So that's a picture of me with him on my second retreat with him. And so the growth continues to happen, and I'm still kind of sorting out this cancer journey. And I think I know what'll do it. I'll go to a month-long retreat in Santa Fe with another Qigong teacher. And so I take Qigong for a month in Santa Fe, and this teacher is energetic, alive, and yet very deep. And that's Ming Tonggu, which he is not pictured there, but that's me leaning on one of the amazing, incredible trees on the property, just soaking in this healing energy from nature, just really, breathing that in and really feeling that healing love from nature in my body. Of course, I thought a month was going to change everything for me, and I would be where I wanted to be after that month of magic with Qigong and nature and all this. But that was not the case. That really started a journey for me, a journey of I'm going to take the slides off while I talk with you. So it really started a journey for me of figuring out who I was, more of who I was, really figuring out what my cancer journey meant to me, and really figuring out that I had been really disconnected from my body and how to reconnect with my body. So for me, those were the questions, the wonderings that really started another growth process for me. My question to you, I have a question if you would like to put in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. What is growth to you? I have some thoughts on what growth is, but we're all about growth today. So if you'd like to pop a note in the chat about what growth is. Yes, Kelly, that's right, at Spring Forest Qigong, the love radiator. Expanding. Yes, growth is expanding. Mm. And if anyone wants to unmute and share, you can too. Moving from a point to a higher point, like expanding, learning, aliveness, sharing love. Ooh, yeah. Anything else that wants to be shared? Knowing yourself on a deeper level. Yeah, that's growth. Yeah. Here to learn. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so there may be other things being typed in, and that's amazing. And those are a lot of the points that I was thinking of too. So that's really neat. So, yeah, expanding into who you really are, your whole self, your body. Yes. The tool going deep into yourself and exploring the new you. Yes.
And
Aware of your.
we also have a remembering of who you are at our
Thank you.
essence.
Yes, thank you.
And taking a risk.
Yes, beautiful. And does it end?
No.
It could. I mean, you could decide I'm just not going to grow anymore, but it's good. It's probably going to happen.
Even possible,
right? So, um, so yeah, and that growth. Why grow? Why grow? Because it really leads to more richness in our lives. It leads to more contentment, a deeper sense of satisfaction, happiness, more joy, more of you. People get to experience more of you, and you get to experience more of you. And we get to bring that out into the world. All right, I'm just going to check in with the chat one more. Okay, there we go. All right, so beautiful. We're all on the same page with growth, and there's so much to learn about it. And I'm going to share my slides again for a little bit here. Okay. So growth happens. I broke it down for myself into two different kind of categories. Unexpectedly, like my cancer journey. So in the face of a challenge that you're not expecting. And it also happens when we're inspired, when we connect with our hearts and dreams. Like when I became a cancer journey coach, I kind of quietly joined and I thought, well, I'll get some really good healing from cancer journey coach training, not really thinking I would actually be a coach. I mean, in the beginning, when I signed up and said yes, I was like, well, you know, the potential's there, but I'm really okay if I just personally learn from this and don't put myself out there. But what happened on that journey through that training is I decided, yes, I want to take the challenge. I want to put myself in front of people, in front of groups like this, you know, and just bring out more of that message, that healing message. All right, so it can happen in many different ways, but these are kind of like the main ideas. We either get shocked a little bit by a growth opportunity, or we choose it consciously. I mean, and that's how life is. We'll get a little of each. Yeah. And so, you know, how do we get to that point where we can see change? Well, so change is inevitable and growth is optional. So I think Sherry Ann and I maybe slightly, you know, not totally in line with this one, but but we can fight off the growth as long as we want to. Sitting on that sofa, while it was painful for me to sit isolated on my sofa, it was comfortable. There was a sense of comfort about it. And I could have stayed there. I could have stayed with my old job. But another growth opportunity might have come along for me, you know, might have interjected itself if I wasn't, you know, embracing growth and change at that time. So I had the choice in each moment whether I was going to move towards work with the changes or kind of push against the changes and let them, you know, just kind of keep me stuck here in this, on this sofa. We'll use the image of the sofa. So how do we get to the point where we can look at change as an opportunity and full of possibility? That's a huge question, and it's a huge process. So it happens when we make a decision to change. The moment I said enough is enough, I can't stand feeling sorry for myself, because I don't see 10 other people feeling sorry for me sitting around here, all crying, agreeing with me about how bad my life is. You know, they were supportive of me emotionally, but they didn't wallow in that place. Thank goodness that they didn't wallow there with me. But that they held that space for me to come to that decision on my own, that it's time to do one thing to change. And that one thing was looking up a video I could do for 5 minutes. My initial Qigong practice was 5 minutes a day until I could get to 10 minutes, and then 30, and then on from there. Okay, so with growth, there's that comfort area, right? There's that comfort zone. That sofa was very comfortable for me, and I had to push past that comfort into the discomfort of, oh my gosh, what's this going to mean for me if I practice Qigong? I might not like it. I might mess it up. I might not even be able to do it, and then I'll be more sad and depressed, right? But I had to push outside of that comfort zone, and I did it very gradually. It wasn't like a, it wasn't like a big swooping change. Just little by little, I pushed gently out of that comfort zone. And Qigong can really support us with that. So one of the things that I love about Qigong, I'm sorry, I'm sharing the screen so much. I want to see you all. So with Qigong, we're entering the season of autumn. And in Chinese medicine, autumn can represent letting things go. It's that harvest time to harvest the learning, the wisdom from the past experiences, and find the gold in there. What were the golden nuggets that you learned about yourself from your past challenges? And you bring those forwards into this present moment, and then you also seed the future with that wisdom. The wisdom of really who you are, those life lessons you've learned about yourself and about your resiliency and who you are. All right, so we'll do a little bit more teaching here before we go into the practice. So in Qigong, we use the word flow and we use the word stagnation. And I love that when we talk about life challenges. So are we going to stay stuck, that's stagnation, or are we going to flow? And I connect that with growth. So when a challenge comes and we stay stagnant, we become like the pond on the right. Vibrancy is drowned out. Aliveness is choked out of the life underneath that water, the surface of the water, with that stagnation, until we breathe life into it. That oxygen, that vitality needs to be breathed back in. And then we become more flowing, like the image on the left. And you notice that image on the left is not like a nicely flowing river. There's some fast areas of that water, and then there's some quieter areas of that water. We get to experience all types of growth opportunities, those fast moving ones and those slower, gentler ones. And so how do we do this? How do we go from that stagnant to flow? So Qigong is about energy. It's about movement. Energy is always moving and changing, and life is always moving and changing. And so if life is always moving and changing and we're staying stuck or stagnant in one place, then we don't get that growth. And so to me, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking, what's been a really big impact for me on this growth process. And it's connecting with my emotions. So we know that emotions are energy in motion. They're meant to move. They're not meant to get stuck in our bodies. And emotions are this beautiful, I know on the slide I have data for decisions. Emotions are like these guideposts on our journey. So when we feel an emotion, first of all, emotions are meant to be felt and experienced, and they're also meant to move. So if I experience sadness, it's meant to be felt. It's a guidepost. That guidepost is that data. What's the sadness telling me? Oh, I feel like I lost something. You know, thinking about a personal situation with my son, feeling like I lost a connection with him. It was bringing this sadness. So as I grieved that sadness, I allowed that sadness to move through me. And when I allowed that sadness to move through me, I could then ask myself, what do I need? And so that sadness was a guidepost. It was telling me I needed XYZ. You know, one of the things I needed was to connect with my son in a different way. And so that prompted my growth, that sadness, getting in touch with it. So it sounds super, super easy, right? Just be in touch with your emotions. That's so easy. And then you'll grow because your emotions are guiding you. They're helping you to learn about yourself more deeply. But it's not so easy because we are wired for survival. We want our species to survive. So we look out for threats to our livelihood, dangers, things that we perceive as dangers. And so we, avoid those dangers. We don't walk in front of traffic, and that's a good danger to avoid. But sometimes those limits around us, my limit of my sofa, my mental limits as to what I could physically do, um, those kept me safe. And I use the word safe in quotes, but they kept me feeling limited. And so some limits in our lives we're meant to push against. We're wired to, to stay safe so that our species can go on. We're not wired to connect with our happiness first. And so it's really becomes this shift in perspective of, okay, how can I relearn to connect with my happiness, my joy, my peace, and my passions first? And this is where Qigong comes in. So Qigong is energy. So the Qi part of Qigong means energy, and there's a lot of ways to explain that, but we'll just say energy. You could also look at it as the way your body functions, the blood, the breath, the way the systems of your body work together. It's all energy. So Qi is energy. The Gong part is our practice, it's our work, it's gaining a skill. So we look at Qigong as becoming the skill of working with our body's energy. And so how does this help us? So one of the things that I learned from my current Qigong teacher is to be in my body. It was what I probably, if you look at body, mind, spirit, and emotions, body is the least for me, the least connected for me. I found that I really needed support with that. And when I did that, when I got support with that, I found that everything else came together and continues to come together. So how Qigong helps us is it helps us to get present. It helps us to move energy, the stuck emotions in our bodies, freeing up our own energy for creativity, to meet our desires, to experience life. It also, Qigong can help us to get into a flow state. the place where each moment that you're present connects together, and that becomes flow. And for me, that's where we experience growth, is when we really get into that space. So a few things that we do. We work with our body, we work with our mind and our breath and our emotions. And I'll use emotions with mind when I speak, but really we use our full being to really connect into that flow state. And as you know, if you've been anybody who's connected with the Cancer Journey Institute for any amount of time, you know that the present moment is where you have the most power and where you can connect with your emotions. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to share. Okay. Just a second. There we go. Okay. So are there questions? We're going to do some movement practice in just a moment, but I wanted to slow down because I feel like I've been trying to get my words out so that we can really get into practice. But are there any questions about, or any comments about growth? Thank you, Kathy. All right. So let's do it. I mean, if anybody wants to unmute, if they want to ask anything, great. And if not, we'll do some practice. Okay. So one of the things I love to do is I love to teach others Qigong. My mom was one of my first students. Thank you, Mom. She very willingly, open-heartedly sat through probably torturous practice with me, because as a first-time teacher, it was very clunky, but it helped me to grow, to be in that safe place of learning. So we're going to stand for this, but as my very first teacher said, you can stand, sit, or lie down for Qigong practice. And that had me sold. So anyway, we're going to stand. I'll move back in just a moment so that you can see me better, that you can see the movements better. But I did want to share some information that's helpful in the beginning. You want to have a clear space. So, you don't want to step on your favorite pet, or things on the floor. We're not going to move our feet a whole lot, but you will probably shift a little in this movement. So just have some clear space. And we will need about an arm's width around us. All right. Let's see. Safety. You are your own best guide or teacher for this. How do you feel safe in this practice? If I say, let's raise our arms like this, and that does not feel right for you, and your shoulders don't want to do that, then change it. Go like this. Bring it down lower, or imagine yourself doing that. Okay? Do what feels right to your body. The motto in this type of Qigong is no pain, no pain. So if we're experiencing a sharp pain all of a sudden from a movement, we either stop the movement or slow it down, or we change it. We just change it so that there's no pain. Okay? So you're welcome to stay hydrated, to take a break at any time. The first time you practice this, there could be aches in the shoulders, there could be some aches in the feet as you get used to the movements. But our goal is going to be to relax this body, so that we can get really present, take in the lessons from life, and bring it forward into our present moment and into our futures. Beginning of our practice starts with some breathing. We'll do some practices that are a little more about stretching and waking up the body's energy. So they're a little bit more, I use the word calisthenic. They're that type of movement in the beginning, but then we get into the juicy part of the flow movements at the end of our practice. And we'll do a little brief meditation at the end. Okay? So we're going to take a stance that's about shoulders width. And for me, that's kind of on the inside of my shoulders. I'm going to step back here. Let me just adjust my microphone. And can you hear me okay? Okay, great. So we're going to take that shoulders width stance, soften our knees. And soften knees just means we're not rigid straight in our knees. There's just some softness. It doesn't have to mean sinking in our knees, just some softness in our knees. Tailbone is dropped. It's in a neutral position, kind of dropped, which is a little different than we normally stand. Dropping the arms at your sides, dropping your shoulders. And when you do this, you're going to elongate your spine. To elongate your spine, you tuck your chin in gently. And it lengthens your spine. Bring your hands to your abdomen. I do cross my hands one over the other, but you don't have to do what's comfortable for you. Either hand over the other, right over your navel. And we start with breathing. Inhaling right into the belly. Feel the belly expand. And as you exhale through your nose, feel your belly sink. Inhale to the belly. Exhaling, belly sinking. Body and mind as you breathe. Body, mind, spirit, all of you coming into this present moment. Just some deep abdominal breathings to reset our nervous system. And on your next breath, arms are going to come up to shoulder height. And we open. So as we open, our arms come back. We look up gently to the sky. There's a slight arch in our back, and we inhale. And we round forwards and exhale. Inhale, opening the front of the body. Exhale, rounding. Exhaling all the way out. This deep breathing and this massaging of our spine sends this message of relaxation through our nervous system. A lot of our movements in the beginning have to do with our spine and opening our spine. Our spine really is this channel for so much, the spinal fluid, the nerves, the nervous system. And when we sit a lot, when we take the same postures over and over, our spine can get a little stuck. So even when you open, feel the front of your spine opening. When was the last time you thought about the front of your spine? And as you round down and tuck your tailbone, feel the back of the spine just elongating. All right, and bring hands down. You can roll your shoulders out at any time if you need a foot break, because we'll be standing. So at any time you can just put your toes on the floor and just roll your foot around if you need to do that at any time. This is meant to be just nourishing and nurturing for you, this practice, as well as connecting us with that flow state. We're moving into a little bit of a twist here. So we just twist at the waist, allowing your arms to float out around you. This is a beautiful present moment practice. So gentle inhales and exhales through the nose. And as you do, notice what you hear in the room. Maybe my voice. You might have a window open and can hear nature sounds. Maybe you hear somebody else in the house or your pet. What do you hear? If you have your eyes open and you gaze around the room, noticing what you see. And noticing your arms and your hands moving a little faster maybe, or a little slower, you decide. What do you feel through your fingers? What do you feel on your skin? You feel the clothes on your skin, the air moving through your fingertips, through your fingers. This is one of my favorite ways to get really present and slow myself down. It's called water waves. And let's slow that down. We're going to move into a little tiger movement. There's going to be a few tiger movements today. And this one is Tiger Clears the Way. I'm going to come a little closer to the camera so you can see. I'm going to put my hands kind of like this, okay? So kind of making a little cup with my hands for the tiger movements. All right. And so here we go. Hands come up over the head. And we're going to have some bending in our knees here. So hands come down through your center of your body. And then when they get to abdomen height, they push away. And then backs of hands come together at the center and float up, back up, and our claws open. And we just sweep through and out and back up, inhaling up and exhaling out. Inhaling up, exhaling out, and you can make a sound as you exhale out. You can exhale through your nose, your mouth, or your nose here. So always inhaling nose, exhaling mouth or nose. And there's a bounce in my knees. And if your knees are ready, willing, and able to do that bounce, go for it. And if they're not, don't do the bounce. As we get the energy moving in our bodies, we find that we can move into these movements gradually. If our body doesn't want to at first, gradually we can expand the movements, but we don't need to force the movements because that can injure us and doesn't feel good. So, love this movement. We're creating space. So this tiger, there's a fierceness in a tiger, right? So we just clear space. We can clear limits. If I have a project I'm working on and I feel limited, I just clear it. Clear that limitation, and brings us into that mindset, that growth mindset, that the limitation is okay. It was meant to keep me safe for a while. And I don't need it. I don't need that limitation right now. So clearing, cleansing, and settling. And just notice. Notice what you feel. Come to that neutral stance, that place where we're shoulder width, our feet are shoulder width, and our arms drop to our sides. And just feel, do your arms feel different? Abdomen, legs, feet, just notice. And here we're gonna do a little more for our spine, and for our shoulders. So front hand, so I'm mirroring you. So that right hand is gonna push across the front of the body while the left hand goes behind and pushes away. So our hands are in opposition to each other, and we twist over the back shoulder. Okay, and then we inhale at the center, come back to the center, inhaling. And then we exhale as we twist to the other side. Be careful of your knees. We don't want the knee to twist. It will naturally twist a little, but we really don't want to twist the knee much. We want to twist from the waist, okay? The waist and the hips. All right, inhaling at the center and twisting, this lateral twist. And you can imagine wringing out tension in your body, wringing out tension. When we let go of the tension in our bodies, so on that exhale, we let go. And then on the inhale, we bring in new life. We bring in new experiences. We exhale, releasing, letting go. And inhaling, filling up all that fresh, clean space with new life, with this qi. We'll call it qi. Inhaling to the center, bringing out, dropping shoulders. Feeling a nice massage for that upper back, the shoulders. And last one. Bring arms in front of you. Let's just take a moment here. We're going to do a little bit more for our neck. Our neck holds a lot of tension. So we're going to open up places and room for new energy to flow through. We're going to push our hands away from us. Palms of hands facing the floor. And drop your chin to your chest. Well, first, let's back up a second. Let's take a moment here with our necks. So let's just breathe here. Feeling what's happening as you stretch those arms out. Are you feeling those lines of tension? And then when you're ready, if you want to make circles with your head, I'll guide you through that. If stretching your neck vertically is enough for you, you just stay right there. So to stretch that neck, you bring your chin slightly in. And if you're ready, we'll do some circles. So let's bring our ear to our shoulder. Drop your chin down to your chest, to your other shoulder. Head up. Our head doesn't want to go too far back. If we bring our head back, it compresses the spine too much. So we'll just kind of go up with our chin and then down to our shoulder again. Go at your pace, inhaling gently, exhaling gently. Opening up the neck, the tops of the shoulders. Slow down when you feel a spot that holds a lot of tension. So instead of forcing it, like for me, there's a little more tension here when I'm in this position. So I'm going to slow down here. And instead of forcing it to open, I'm just going to slow down and breathe and continue that circle. And over time, this really opens up the neck. We're going to go in the other direction. So let's elongate that spine. Bring your ear to your opposite shoulder there, the opposite side, and forward to the other side and up. Nice circles. Before we want our energy to flow, we really want to create this openness in our bodies. We have these amazing energy pathways like rivers in our bodies. And anything that's obstructing these rivers of energy, we want to let go of. We want to release. All right. And relax and roll your shoulders out. Take a deep breath. And this might be one of my favorite go-tos. So this is one that I would recommend you take with you today. And it is shaking. It's very simple. Shaking. I didn't know that was Qigong, but yes, this is a Qigong movement. All right. This is a great way to get anything that hasn't opened yet, any channels, any rivers in our body that have not opened yet. If we just have a bounce in our knees, if that feels comfortable for you, then we just bounce our knees. We let the elbows bounce and shake. We let the head relax. The head begins to shake. And you can sigh as you do this. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. And now kind of scan as we do this. Scan through your body. You can begin to move side to side. What wants to shake? Was there any place that feels stuck to you? Do your arms want to come up? Wave to each other. We want to have them at heart level. Down. What wants to shake? And you know what? You can even practice those abdominal organs. You can even see if you can shake with so much relaxation and no muscle tension to see if you can see what it feels like to let those solar plexus and abdominal organs shake. Takes a little bit of concentration to relax that area. But this one, so we can come to standing or you can keep shaking. But when I get stuck in a story of, that should not have happened and I can't move past, when I'm really stuck there, I shake because I realize there's something that needs to move through. I've got to get something moving before I can really understand what I need in this moment. So I will do that. I will do this shaking until I'm in a place where I can get in touch with my emotions. Sometimes it just helps that panic and that swirliness that we get into sometimes in circumstances to settle enough that I can get present and get with my emotions. So some of the key practices that I would take away, that spinal cord breathing like this and like this. And this one, the second one, the shaking. And then I'll show you one at the end that I would take from today. If you just wanted a 5-minute practice, you can do those 3 things to really get yourself in the present moment and feel really grounded and centered in your being. Okay. So now we take these opened pathways, these pathways that you've opened by doing these movements, these stretching and activating movements. And that energy now is free to flow through your body. So let's try this out. We're going to do a movement where our arms are going to float up. But let me describe this to you. Imagine there's these beautiful satin ribbons, one on each wrist, and that these satin ribbons are just allowing your arms to float up. So somebody's gently pulling that ribbon on your wrist. And so your arms just gently float up. We inhale up and exhale down. So we inhale up. Exhale, floating down. So we're looking for relaxation here. How can we move in relaxation? When we move in relaxation, we're moving with the flow of life. And that allows us to be in that position to grow. And notice And you can keep doing this movement where we're floating up, floating down, or you can pause yourself and you can try it very rigid. Feel what that feels like. How many times could you do that very rigid versus flowing? So we do this for a few reasons. We do this to teach our bodies how to really, instead of reacting to situations, is teaching our bodies and our minds to work together. Repatterning, making this your go-to stance instead of the fight, flight, freeze response. Making it easier to connect with this flowing place. So let's try one arm floating up. And as it comes down, other one begins to float up. And we can have a slight, so there'll be a slight turn at the waist here. Not much, just a slight turn as one comes up and down. And as you do this, feel what it would feel like if you were water. Water that's flowing. You know that softness of water? It's running through the faucet and you have your hands in the water and it just feels soft on your skin. Maybe you run your hand, you might be at the ocean and you run your hand through the water. Feel the softness of that water. And then there's that fierceness of water that moves around obstacles, pushes through. Working with gravity. So water works with the forces around it, the forces that are impacting it. And so we're working with situations that impact us. And to grow through these circumstances, we connect with this flow, because in this state of flow, we know what we need. From here, let's just settle those arms down. You can drop them right around waist level, as if the backs of the hands are floating on water, just allowing all this energy we're working with to just fill up the rivers of our body. When we move in this flow and breathe at this slower pace, those energy channels just become so receptive. So more energy means more vitality, more connection, more balance, more peace. From here, we're going to bring our hands to the center line of our body. They float up in front of us. One hand floats behind and the other in front. This is Enlightened Tiger. And then they come down and we twist to the front. So in the front, those hands float up through the center of our body. The hands spiral as your body turns to the other side. Hands float down and through that space in front and behind you. Then we turn back to the center. Enlightened Tiger. So we draw up through the center, inhaling up, exhaling out and down. Do this to your body's comfort. So if arms don't want to come up as high, that's okay. This is a lot of shoulder movement. So we find that when we push too hard, that growth gets delayed in these Qigong movements. It can. Okay, let me just say, in this practice of Qigong, my growth in Qigong was delayed because I pushed it too hard. I pushed it so that I hurt my ankles because I was keeping too wide of a stance and I didn't know it. I didn't listen when the teacher said, no pain, no pain. I'll admit it. So what happened is it slowed down my growth until I learned to work within the limits that were right for me. And so in this movement, just imagine this tiger clawing and sifting through, the back hand representing the past, the forward hand representing the future, and you are this present moment. So to the past, we hold the past with lightness behind us, and we draw in the wisdom from the past. We draw it into our present moment, and we also send it out into the future. So whatever we learn, sifting through those lessons from the past for the gems, we bring the gems of those experiences into our present moment and into the future. So the gem of sitting on the sofa, for me, was the fact that I could impact my state of well-being by my choices. The gem was also connecting me, looking outside first, looking outside myself first for what would help me to grow. And then learning to look inside, which is a lifelong process, I believe. All right, so if you think about a situation, a challenge that you've faced or are facing right now, what's the gem from that challenge? Or if you don't know what that gem is, kind of being open, allowing this openness, that claw to sift through, receiving the gem and pulling it forwards. And then letting the past go with love, with gratitude, gentleness, kindness. It's like releasing to make space. And as we release the past to make space, we have more room for creativity, joy, love, new experiences. And let's come back to the center. And we'll just keep this standing posture for a moment. Backs of hands as if they're floating on water. Feeling your feet, they may be tingling from standing if you're not used to this. So you can move your feet if you want to. But opening the bottoms of those feet to really feel the strength of the earth, your connection with earth through the floor that we're standing on. From here, let's bring our hands into a ball at our navel. And as we hold this ball, our hands are going to now push outwards. It's like we're creating space for ourselves. So our hands float out. Then the backs of the palms float back to the center as we rise. And the hands come up to the throat. And then they reach forward. And then they come up to the sky and form this mountain, let's say, near us. And then hands come back to the center. So hands push out. We inhale as we rise. Exhale, push forwards. And inhale, hands come around. Hands go out, come back in and up. Breathing gently, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. This is embrace the tiger, return to the mountain. So what is this tiger? What are we embracing here? We're embracing every aspect of ourselves. We're embracing especially our emotions. And we're returning to the mountain. This beautiful mountain which represents stability, groundedness. So the idea is as we make room for ourselves and we push limitations, we push against them, draw in what we need and embrace all of who we are, then we can move out into the world and we can really be grounded by this mountain. So we rise, embracing everything we are, every emotion, no judgment of ourselves, releasing, letting go. That the stability mountain provides everything that we need, all of our resources. We can live within for the resources we need through our growth, through our challenges. And by now we're flowing. Feel your shoulders. Are you able to relax them a little here? Just drop them a little. Drop those shoulders. Return to this groundedness. This earth has you. You have you. All of life is here to support you. What's it like to see these growth opportunities through that perspective of life supporting you? And let's finish this movement here. Hands come to your abdomen. We're going to do a closing movement called centering. And this is also a really good one. If you're going to use 3 movements throughout your day to help you feel grounded and centered, come back to your grounded place where you know who you are. You're going to sweep your arm out. It circles around the whole body and comes right down the center. So there's a little sinking in the knees here. Hand comes out around the body and through the center. Arm floats out. Centering, returning right back into our bodies. So you can imagine if you've just been doing some of that shaking we did, using this movement to really get centered. And bring your hands to your navel. Bring your feet together. You can close your eyes just for a moment here if you're comfortable. You don't have to, but it feels good sometimes to just close our eyes. Return to the breathing we did in the beginning, that deep abdominal breathing where our belly moves out with the inhale. It sinks back on the exhale. You might notice your body move spontaneously. The energy that we've opened up is flowing and moving. And I'll invite you to take a seat for a brief meditation. Take a sip of water if you need. And as you sit down, return to that belly breathing, that deep abdominal breathing. Your hands can be on your navel, or they can just be relaxing at your side. Take this opportunity to reconnect even more with your breath. And on your next breath, allow the image or the thought of a loved one to come to mind. It could be a pet, it could be a situation where you felt either love or appreciation for somebody or something. Allow that to come to mind, and as it does, feel a gentle smile beginning to form on your face. And that gentle smile, let's turn that inwards to your body. First to your heart. Smiling to your heart. As if your heart has just given you something beautiful, a beautiful flower, a warm embrace. Smile to your heart. And this smile of gratitude is received by your heart. What does the heart feel like as it receives your gratitude? Heart feeling warm, whatever you experience. Heart receiving your gratitude openly. And heart smiling at you. You receiving this warm smile from your heart. Turn your attention to any area of your body that could use a little extra appreciation today. It could be a place of tension, pain. It could be a place in the body that's working so beautifully and balanced for you. Just pick a place in the body to show appreciation to. So if it's I'll use lungs, but you substitute whatever it is you've chosen. Turning your attention to that area, the lungs for me. Smiling right into your lungs. or that other organ, body part, etc. Lungs receiving your appreciation, your gratitude. Gratitude for the functions this body performs. Gratitude for the years that it's been with you. That place in your body, receiving your gratitude as if it's the first time that organ or part has received your gratitude. Lungs smiling back at you. In appreciation for your gratitude. And feeling this exchange of appreciation and gratitude and love. Now moving through every cell of your body. Every cell smiling, receiving your gratitude. Every cell smiling right back at you. Feeling every cell, or just knowing that every cell is now moving with lightness through your body. With this new delight and dance of gratitude and appreciation. And in your next breath, begin to place your hands on your abdomen. And just little circles around your navel. Centering, storing in all this vibrancy, this gratitude and appreciation. On your next breath, you can begin to open your eyes and stretch. Coming back into this moment. You can rub your face. Arms. And when you're ready, I love to end my practice in gratitude. So first I do look inside. I offer myself gratitude for showing up. So I would invite you to do the same, to offer yourself gratitude for showing up, whatever else was going on, that you created this space and time for yourself. And then I turn gratitude towards all of my teachers, every growth opportunity in my life, in my experiences. I offer gratitude for every single teacher, whether it was an event, a person, all gratitude for every experience. And then gratitude for you and for all of life. And just take that gratitude back in. And so I would like to hear how that was for you, if you'd like to share. And if you want to stay in silence and don't want to share right now, that's okay too.
Maggie, that was wonderful. I love Qigong, and I just love the way you teach. It was so relaxing, and could really see how I could use it with coaches. I mean, with clients as a coach.
Yes. Yes.
Really, yeah, you brought it to what we do,
Mm.
connected it. In fact, the reason I was off video for a little bit is I got a call because I'm also working this morning from someone who was very stressed, high anxiety. And I said, hey, I'm watching Qigong. I'm going to send you a Qigong video. Because you had gotten to the shaking.
Yeah.
Shaking?
Yeah.
Went, oh, perfect timing.
That beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Kelly. And it's funny because you said, you know, it works so well for, you can see using it with your clients, the people that you work with. And I found the same thing too. Like, I can't separate the two anymore. I just can't.
It's part of your life. And I encourage you to get your own YouTube channel teaching Qigong if you don't already have one. I would love to.
Thank you. I haven't really put, I do teach online on Zoom, but I haven't really, I have a few students that I teach on Zoom, but I haven't really put a YouTube channel together. So thank you for that.
I thought it was marvelous. It was my first experience with Qigong. I've heard about it, followed it, but not really seen it. And that was so calming and easy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like it's not like Tai Chi. It's not like any of the other modalities. It's like, I like this.
Thank you for sharing that, Sherry-Ann. Yeah, because it's like that return to your center. Like, you feel like you're in that present moment.
Right. And your way of just talking through the whole thing was like so effortless to you. And yet it was needed I just needed your voice as we were doing what we were doing. Perfect. I'm blown away. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Sherry-Ann. Who else would like to share? Anybody?
So Dio just sent, she's at work, and she said, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
I have to hop off. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Dio.
Bye. All right.
She said she really enjoyed that. And I just, it was fun watching the other folks also doing it. It was like,
yeah.
Really, it's like,
It is. For me, it's like that. It's like, in the beginning, I don't notice it. And then once we get to the end, I'm like, oh, where did that time go? And it does feel like, I think my mom is trying to say something, but she can't be heard.
How did you figure that out?
There you go. Talk closer.
I finally did. I got the right screen finally.
Yeah.
I found it very, very relaxing. We're in the middle of a lot going on in the house now. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to stop here for maybe a whole hour. But it was very, very relaxing.
Oh, good.
Timing was good. Yeah, I could find myself really slowing down, and much needed. Thank you, Maggie.
It's like, you're coming back to like I think about it as like my home. Like, this body, my home, I'm coming back to it instead of my mind taking me here and there, despite the chaos in the house.
Yeah, and quite often the me doesn't get the priority.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you carved out that space.
I carved it out.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's good. It's all very good. I enjoyed it very, very much.
Good. Well, I'm going to put up one last slide.
Okay.
I just thank everybody for participating, whether you're on live or watching it later. Let me find my share button here.
Kathy said, thank you, Maggie. It was wonderful and relaxing.
Thank you, Kathy. I'm glad that was for you. So this is in my appreciation for you being here, if you'd like to come and just see what my classes are like, I really want to welcome you into a class. If you'd like to do this a couple more times at no charge, it's a gift to you to continue celebrating Sherry Ann and the Cancer Journey Institute's 10-year anniversary. So I have a couple of upcoming classes if you want to join in. My contact info is all there. You can scan that little bar thingy or reach out to me by email, or the link even. And I'm going to stop the share. So I'm just going to just a second. There we go. There, my contact info is in there too, if that's easier to copy it, if you want to copy it and be in touch. I'd love to practice with you again. It was really fun.
We loved having you. Thank you so much, Maggie. Mike, I think we should have you every month.
You know what, Sherry Ann?
Really every day. So just our little moment of, even if you did your 5 minutes, it's like,
yeah,
oh, I could do this for 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's how I started. Some days it would be I would just watch it. And I felt like, okay, at least I watched it. But yeah, if you do a couple minutes here and there, because life is Qigong. Qigong is life. It really is. From my perspective as like a lifelong learner of Qigong, because that's who I am right now.
I love that. You are a lifelong learner, and everyone will get a recording or the replay of this. So what I love is we could just go to this part and do the wave or do the shaking.
Yep. Yeah, we could just, you can go back to any part that you want to.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Maggie.
Thank you for having me. It's so beautiful to be in this community with everybody.
We love having you.
Oh, thank you very, very much, Meg.
Nice meeting you, Mom.
That's Mary Shaw is her name.
Coaching. Congratulations. 10 years is wonderful.
Thank you. We're very proud of that.
That's great.
All right. Have a lovely rest of your day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.